Welcome to Trending Update USA. I am Steffan, and today we dive deep into one of the most compelling storylines of the 2025 WTA season, a storyline that has kept fans talking, analysts debating, and tennis lovers around the world glued to every court Coco Gauff steps on. Because for all the triumphs, all the breakthroughs, and all the highlight reel moments that Gauff has delivered this year, there remains one player who has managed to stop her momentum more than anyone else. One player who seems to have cracked a specific code to challenging the American star. And today we explore that rivalry, that psychological tug-of-war, that contrast in styles and personalities, and how it has shaped Coco Gauff's journey through the 2025 season. As the months rolled on in 2025, Coco Gauff continued to grow into her role as one of the biggest faces of women's tennis. She brought the energy, the charisma, and the relentless athleticism that have made her a fan favorite since her teenage years. She stepped into tournaments as a contender everywhere she went, and more often than not, she delivered. Her speed from the baseline, her power on the run, her ability to absorb and redirect pace, and her improved serve have all elevated her into a consistent top-tier threat. Yet, every top player meets a rival who consistently challenges them in a unique way, and for Gauff, that rival has been none other than Iga Swiatek. Swiatek, the Polish powerhouse, has been a force on tour for years, and while the rivalry with Gauff has produced memorable matches on both sides, the 2025 season has tipped heavily in Swiatek's favor. She has beaten Gauff more times in 2025 than any other WTA player, turning their encounters into a fascinating case study of style clashes, mental warfare, and the subtleties that determine success at the highest level. Swiatek's dominance in their head-to-head battles this season rests not just on raw ability, but on her ability to neutralize Gauff's strengths and force the American into uncomfortable patterns of play. Fans have noticed it. Commentators have noted it. Even Gauff herself has acknowledged it in interviews. Facing Swiatek demands a level of precision, discipline, and tactical execution that few other opponents require. Swiatek's smooth footwork, her early ball striking, her ability to take time away from Gauff's counterpunching, and her heavy topspin forehand to Gauff's backhand wing have all played pivotal roles in shaping this dynamic. Whenever they meet on hard courts, clay, or even indoor surfaces, Swiatek has managed to impose herself in key moments of the match. But what makes this rivalry even more compelling is the emotional weight behind it. For Gauff, Swiatek isn't just another opponent. She is the benchmark, the test she must pass if she wants to ascend to the level of dominance she and her team envision. And in 2025, each loss has pushed Gauff not backward, but forward, driving her to refine her game, learn from the experience, and return stronger in the next encounter. Her resilience has become as much a talking point as her raw talent. Throughout the season, Gauff has spoken openly about how rivalries shape champions. She has mentioned how the losses sting, yes, but how they also inspire growth. She has referenced how Serena Williams used her losses to Justine Henin and Kim Clijsters as motivation in her early 2000s years, how Maria Sharapova used her rivalry with Serena as a motivator even when the head-to-head was lopsided, and how the legends of the game always had someone they needed to conquer to take their careers to new heights. For Gauff, Swiatek is that mountain in 2025, the peak she must climb. And the fans feel that storyline deeply. Every time they step onto the court, whether it's a quarterfinal, semifinal, or a title match, social media explodes. Predictions fly. Debates heat up. Analysts break down every stroke, every strategy, every historical comparison. And as much as some fans root for Gauff to overcome Swiatek, others admire the Polish star's relentless excellence and composure under pressure. It is not a rivalry built on animosity, it's one built on respect, hunger, and the pursuit of greatness, and that is what makes it captivating. In their first meeting of 2025, Swiatek established the tone early. She attacked Gauff's second serve, pulled her wide with angled returns, and dictated the rallies. Gauff fought bravely, showcasing her improved forehand and her refusal to give up on long exchanges, but Swiatek found ways to navigate the match with patience and precision. That match ended with Gauff acknowledging afterward that she needed a more aggressive mindset, a more proactive approach, and a willingness to step inside the court instead of reacting defensively. By their second clash of the year, Gauff had made adjustments. She hit flatter, took more risks on the return, and tried to rush Swiatek's timing. It worked in patches, creating tight scorelines and dramatic momentum swings, but Swiatek once again found answers, elevating her first serve percentage and pushing Gauff into longer baseline duels. The pattern repeated through the season. Gauff made improvements, but Swiatek countered them with precision and clarity in the crucial moments. Analysts point out that Swiatek's biggest advantage is the consistency of her patterns. She doesn't overhit. She doesn't panic. She sticks to her game plan and executes it with discipline. Meanwhile, Gauff's natural game thrives on athletic improvisation, running down balls, turning defense into offense, using her spectacular movement to frustrate opponents into errors. Against Swiatek, however, that improvisational style often leaves her defending a step too often. And when Gauff is pulled out of her rhythm early, Swiatek gains confidence, and that has been the deciding factor in many of their matches. But there is another layer to this story, a psychological one. Gauff is aware of the narrative around her rivalry with Swiatek. She hears it from fans, from media, from tennis pundits. Yet she has embraced the challenge. She has said repeatedly that facing the world's best is what makes her better, that rivalries are what define champions, and that she sees Swiatek as a necessary part of her journey, not an obstacle to dread. That maturity, at such a young age, speaks volumes about Gauff's long-term potential. And as we approach the closing months of the 2025 season, the question remains, will Gauff finally break the pattern? Will she flip the script in a crucial semifinal or a championship match? Will she finally find the tactical balance required to disrupt Swiatek's flow? Many believe she is getting closer. Her serve speed is up. Her forehand has more variety. Her net play has become sharper, more confident, and more tactically integrated into her overall game plan. In fact, her team has been working tirelessly on patterns to break Swiatek's rhythm, using early point aggression, taking balls on the rise, slicing more often to slow the polished star's tempo, and approaching the net earlier in rallies. These changes are subtle but significant, and they suggest that the next chapter of this rivalry may not look like the previous ones. Rivalries evolve, players evolve, and tennis seasons are defined by the players who learn and adapt the fastest. Still, Swiatek deserves immense credit for her dominance. The 2025 season has seen her maintain an elite level of consistency, handling pressure with poise and delivering her best when it matters most. Her ability to control the middle of the court, to dictate play with her forehand, and to convert breakpoint opportunities with icy precision has made her one of the toughest opponents for any player, not just Gauff. She has shown time and again why she remains at the top of the tennis world. But Gauff is not far behind. In fact, many believe that this rivalry could define the next decade of women's tennis. It has all the ingredients: youth, contrasting playing styles, mutual respect, and the constant push for improvement. And the excitement around their matchups only grows with each new chapter. Fans buy tickets early. Broadcast networks promote the matches heavily. Social media buzzes with anticipation long before they even step onto the court. One thing is certain: Coco Gauff's journey through the 2025 season cannot be fully understood without acknowledging the role IJ Swiatek has played in it. Swiatek has become the measuring stick, the early chapter antagonist in Gauff's growing legend, but also the catalyst fueling her evolution, pushing her beyond her comfort zone, demanding more from her in every aspect of the game. And as we look ahead, the feeling is clear: Gauff will continue pushing, improving, sharpening, and studying this matchup until the day she finally cracks it. Because every great tennis champion eventually solves their biggest obstacle. Serena solved hers. Federer solved his. Djokovic solved his. And for Coco Gauff, that solving moment may be coming sooner than many expect. This rivalry is far from over. In fact, some would argue it's only just beginning. Swiatek may have dominated 2025, but tennis is a long game. Seasons shift. Momentum changes. confidence swings. New strategies emerge. And with Gauff's talent, determination, and ability to rise under pressure, the next time she steps onto the court against Swiatek, it might just be the day when the story changes. Until then, fans will watch, analysts will dissect, and the tennis world will continue debating who holds the upper hand. But one truth stands firm. In 2025, no WTA player has beaten Coco Gauff more than Swiatek, and that remarkable statistic has shaped one of the most electric narratives in modern women's tennis. This is Trending Update USA. I am Steffan, and this has been your full in-depth breakdown of the WTA player who has conquered Coco Gauff the most times in 2025, the rivalry that continues to push both stars to new heights, and the storyline that fans just cannot stop talking about.